All right, it says we're live. I hope we are. Welcome, everybody. Mrs. Bunker's not here yet. She will be here any moment. She's busy. I'll get to that in just a minute, but she's going to be on her way. Hello, everybody. It is all right, no problem. I got an error popped up, but I think we're all right. Hope you're out there. Let me know if you're seeing the video. Let me know if you can hear the audio. My name is Michael Bunker. This is the Bunker Nation show. Normally it's 7 p.m. Central Time, sometimes in the morning. But today, because it's a special episode with Mrs. Bunker here, we're going to have it at 4 o'clock Central Time. Got to do the box thing. Somebody get on here and let me know that somebody's out there and that the audio and the video are working. And then we'll come back. Yes, it's 104 degrees. We're coming off about, I don't know, 10 or 12 days, well over 100. The last 2 days have been 108. Hello, Amy from Prosper. I hope more people are going to come in here and let me know how things are going. I had an error pop up, but I'm hoping that the audio and video are good. All right, Nathan, thank you. So it's 104 right now, right this second. Let me check because it might have gone up. But yesterday was 108. The day before that was 108. And so I was going to kind of 104 in Santa Ana, Texas. My goodness. So you can see I'm a little damp. Not too bad. But anyways, so Mrs. Bunker was up there and she's got to go back. She's got 2 more weeks. 2 more weeks on the front lines of the COVID battle. And then, Lord willing, she's supposed to be back here on the 28th of this month and back permanently. And so since she's going to be leaving here in just a little while, she's got to get back before dark. We decided to do the show at 4 o'clock. Hello, War Dog. Hi, I'm glad to see you. Glad to see everybody. Come on in. Wherever you are, whatever platform you're watching on, go into the comment section, type in where you are, type a question or a comment or whatever else. It's been 3 or 4 days. I'd hoped to do a show over the weekend while Mrs. Bunker was here. But here's what happened. It got so hot. And you go, how hot was it? It was so hot that a dog was chasing a cat and they just phoned it in. That's horrible. So anyways, it got so hot that we decided to get a hotel room for the 2 nights, for Friday and Saturday night. Just because I hate for Mrs. Bunker and for Sarah to get here and then have to like immediately get thrown into like the worst couple of days we've had. And I think it got hotter than 108. 108 was the official temperature, but I think it was hotter than that. The car was reading like 114, so it might have been like 110. It says only 88 in northwest of Montana. Speaking of Montana, the TV show Yellowstone tonight, if you watch it live, I don't get to watch it live because I don't have that Paramount Network, whatever. I watch it through Amazon Prime. I'll probably watch it tomorrow. But tonight's episode, my good friend Garrett Bradford has a song that's going to be playing on Yellowstone tonight, and that's very exciting. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about it when Mrs. Bunker gets here because I'm excited for him. It's not anybody thinking, oh my gosh, now he's the new Garth Brooks or something like that. Just like when stuff happened for me, and it was just exciting. Like when you sell a film option, when Hollywood's talking about your book, when you sign a big name director, it's just freaking exciting. And so I get excited for other people. So in the description later on, you future people, if you're watching this and it's not live, if it doesn't say live up here, it's not live. You can go down in the description and I've got a link down there. Garrett Bradford is his name. And the song is called This Way of Life. And the song is now available, so you can get it on Spotify, you can get it on Pandora, you can get it on Amazon. I got it on Amazon Music. That's where I get my music. I have Spotify too, but I don't pay for it. I see her. She's coming down. She's not at all probably excited about doing this. because it is very, very hot. And she was very kindly doing my laundry because she didn't want to leave and have me not have any laundry. So she's doing my laundry outside, hanging it up in a tree on a laundry line. Only says I'm hiding in the shade of the Hillbilly Hilton, aka my canopy tent. Normally, here she is. She's hot and sweaty. There she is. Everybody's welcome, Mrs. Bunker. She's here. It's hot. Is you too hot to say anything?
No.
You can have all of that fan. So normally, and by normally I mean under the current situation, I get up and I go to the gym at 4 o'clock in the morning. I get back around between 6 and 7:15 at the latest. And then I get all my chores done. And then I get, some work done. And then when it gets hot, I'm in the hammock in the shade until howdy, Danielle Bunker from Wardogheim. Usually I'm in the shade in the hammock until 5:30. So right now is the hottest part of the day, and she's been up there doing laundry. All right. So Mrs. Bunker's here. The entire contingent of the show is here. She's still preparing herself.
Sorry. Ponytail is bothering me.
I could actually use that.
Okay.
So if you guys have questions or comments or anything you want to talk about, there's a few things. So I was just telling them that my friend Garrett Bradford has got a song that's going to be playing tonight on Yellowstone. So you guys make sure you go to Spotify, go to wherever you get your music, Amazon, iTunes, all of those places. Type in Garrett Bradford and then just get the song. Listen to it. It's really good. The song is called This Way of Life. I just listened to the whole thing all the way through. It's very haunting, and I can see the scene already that's probably going to be on the show because you got no spoilers, but Kevin Costner's character kind of realizing that his way of life is at risk. And so I think it's going to be kind of cool. I won't be able to watch the show tonight, but I'll be watching it probably tomorrow night. All right. So how are you?
I'm pretty good. And more dog time to answer your question. I'm going to be looking forward to the end of my job. And getting out of the city.
What else are you looking forward to over the next couple of weeks?
Oh, the next couple of weeks? Friday the 28th.
the disaster that I've left her here at this place.
Oh yeah, that's no big deal. I've had bigger challenges.
Yeah. All right. If there's anybody else out there, make sure you hit the like button if you have any questions or comments. I wrote down a couple of things. Oh, by the way, and so I mentioned this on the last show. We're going to be working on Time Looter, getting the first season out. So Time Looter 1, 2, and 3, they're already written. Everything's done. We just got to get some editing done. We got to get it pushed up. So hopefully that's going to be, getting out of the city is a good thing. And I think it's doubly important going into the election cycle that there's going to be a lot of stuff probably going on. And so I think it's going to be good timing for her to be coming home. And then, I would let her speak for herself, but the experience of having lived out here for a long time and then going back into that was probably pretty. I
was reminded of the reason why I was able to walk away from my job before in the late 90s.
Right. So Amy's on here.
Hi, Amy.
Anybody else, if you have any questions or comments, go ahead and type them in. So I was talking about Time Looters coming out. God in the Storm is out. And hopefully enough of you now have read it. What we need, and I'll put a link in the description after the show's over. You can go down there, and you can go down and find the link to the thing and go do a review on Amazon.com. All right, we need reviews. Reviews are important. We're going to be doing a big. I see it, but I don't understand that language. So
what does hey dear mean? I know it in Indonesian.
I would just ignore it. If you just watch those and try to read them all, some bad stuff's going to come through. So maybe just let me read them to you. Hi, Danielle. Hope your 2 weeks passes by quickly.
Thank you very much.
Me even more. And that right there, what I'm doing, that hurts. Don't poke yourself in the peck. So where was I anyway? I was talking about
I
something.
have no idea. Somehow you ended up there.
I know I was talking about something.
You were talking about not looking at the comments.
Oh yeah, well, I was talking about something else before that. I don't remember.
I don't either.
So, I said I was going to tell you why I think I'm so excited for Garrett Bradford getting his song on this TV show. It is a huge thing when you've given such a big portion of your life onto some art, some content creation, and somebody in the industry that you admire looks at it and says, this is special enough that we want to include it in a. Most people, most artists have imposter syndrome. No matter how many books you sell, no matter how well you do, no how many people tell you, oh, your books are great, I love them. You don't ever believe them. You think they're just telling you that because they're and then you listen to people lie to people. So when you have family members and friends that tell you that your books are great or your songs are great or whatever, and then you hear other people's family telling them that a book was great that was horrible, or that somebody's clearly a bad writer, or as a horrible song or something. So you get imposter syndrome where you think, I really suck at this, and then I'm never going to make it. I've wasted all my time. So when the industry that you look up to, or an industry professional part of the industry, picks your song or picks your book or something like that, it's very gratifying. And to me, to see it happen for other people is equally exciting. All right, Nathan said, being new to Arizona, I'm thinking it's Arizona and not the Amish zone. I never realized how hot it is during the summer. I imagine the heat is somewhat similar in Texas. It amazes me how the natives preserved food and stayed cool. Yeah, and depending on where you are in Arizona, it could be way hotter. Where we are, the temperatures we're dealing with right now are pretty high. This is not normal. We normally get some days in the hundreds, maybe 13 to 15 days in the hundreds in a year, in a normal year, but not normally. Like, I think this is like 10, maybe 12 days in a row. And some of them have been really, really high hundreds, and that's not really normal. Our normal temperature for right now is probably 95, which means when you say normal, it's never 95. It could be 90. It could be 105. That's kind of like the average. But we don't normally, I would say maybe 3 times we've had this many days over 100 in a row, maybe 3 or 4 times in 15 years. Normally we get like maybe 2-3 days over 100, then it drops back down in the 90s. So this has been pretty extensively brutal. Wardogheim says he's in the last pages of Wick. If you got the hardback copy of God in the Storm, Wardog, it should be coming very, very soon. We had a big glitch in the Matrix in getting the signed books out. And so all of the paperbacks have gone out that were ordered signed, but the hardbacks have not. It's going to be soon, but we had some technical issues, some technical problems. That book, I think we've met more spiritual opposition. Pretty much everything I have broke or didn't work. Every time I said, okay, I'm going to finish the book on this day, some disaster would happen. Car broke down, radiator went out twice. We would have to fix something. Just everything would break. So last week, or the week before last, I shipped it off to Sean because he was handling the hardback. And I said, my hands are clean of this deal. I just want to be clear of it because everything bad has happened to me for the last 2 years related to me trying to finish this book. And so he ended up this week, I guess, had some kind of medical emergency with his son. So,
and before that, he had car trouble.
Yeah, and then he had major car trouble. And so it's just been this book is that important. It is that important, and it's that good. I read it again just the other day. It's a great book. God in the Storm. It's about the Cambodian genocide in 1979-ish, late 70s. And it also parallels what was going on in Southeast Asia, especially in Cambodia, paralleled with what's going on in America today with Antifa and all that. Yeah, when you speak of faith and how it uplifts you, the opposition fires up their engines. That's the truth. I can tell you anytime I've ever been working on something that I know spiritually people need to read, something that's right over the target of what's going on in the zeitgeist or what's going on in the world. We've had disaster after disaster after disaster. And this book going back, I had originally intended to write this whole book in 6 months. And it's been one thing after another. You don't have to apologize for being late, Daniel. Glad you could make it. Only thing you don't do is don't say, I got to go. Stop announcing when you're leaving. Not you, Daniel, anybody. I don't know why people do that. People like sign in. They're like, hey, I got to go. Just making me feel bad. Hi, Pat. Glad you're here. So that's kind of what's going on. We've had this severe heat going on, trying to take care of keeping things going out here a little bit. I've been getting chores done early in the morning. We have a pig at the butcher, the 4th of the season or the year. And we have what? No. I killed one myself and butchered it myself.
Well, you know.
And then 3 have gone to the butcher. Yeah, it does. I did it. It was a 200-something pound pig. I did it by myself in the heat. It was actually harder than all the other 3 put together. So we did 4 pigs in so far, and we got another one that's going to go in. Hopefully, we got to get a butcher date. So that's what's been going on. You know, keeping the chickens going. It's hot. It's just hot. And I was mentioning the other day, people don't realize that when you live at this temperature and you don't like escape it, you don't go into the air conditioning, that everything in the house soaks up that heat. So when you do get to sit down, when you sit in a chair, that chair is 104 degrees. It's whatever the ambient temperature is. Maybe not 104, but it may be 100. And the bed just emits it, So that's why I like the hammock a lot. Daniel said, hi, Danielle. Good to see you. 80s music rules. No, I like a lot of 80s music. I do. I just give her a hard time. A lot of it I like. Hi, Mike Kiefer.
Hi, Mike.
That's my brother-in-law. Good to see you. He's Mike and I'm Michael. That's how we tell each other apart. Other than that, we're exactly the same. Hello, Joe. Just checking my email. And I see that Bunker is live early today. I am. And the reason why is because Mrs. Bunker's got to go back for just her last 2 weeks of time in the city. And then she'll be back, Lord willing, on the 28th. And I will be happy. Sitting in an air-conditioned automotive bubble. I kind of would like to be in one right now, but just not in the city. I would just go sit in the air conditioner right now.
If Tracy's there, tell her I said hi.
Yeah. We have a fan that's going on. I'm not getting too much of it, but if I lean this way, I get it. No, leave it on you. Leave it on you. Yeah. I actually have a shirt this color that I just got. As everybody knows, because of my massive weight loss, I only get clothes at the thrift store. And so I got one, was it yesterday? Saturday?
I think. Yeah,
I got a workout shirt that's exactly this color. And I thought of good Mike versus bad Mike. That's probably true. Although it's just Michael. I could still be bad Michael. You know that movie, we were talking about music and we were talking about Garrett Bradford's song coming out in Yellowstone. Tonight's episode, you got to watch it, everybody. That movie, what was that movie?
No, but you didn't go anywhere with that workout shirt.
What is that movie? The one with Bad Blake. Crazy Heart with Jeff Bridges, where he's a country singer named Bad Blake. So that made me think of that because he said I was Bad Mike. Tracy's driving and says hi back. Hello, Tracy.
Keep
glad
your
to see
eyes on
you.
the road.
We are so glad that Mrs. Bunker is going to be getting home. before the whole election debacle, before things go further south, no matter who wins. That was one great thing that even the pastor said today in church. It's going to be bad. Tracy says that makes you a BM. See, this is not even nice. But I'll take it. I'm probably worse. Hello, Ron and Ravonda. Sorry I didn't get to see you when you were in town the other day or going through town. You possibly did not get my message. I was in Coleman meeting with the pastor, and was going to go get something to eat. And you guys were, I guess, we're going the opposite direction. But I messaged you, and I didn't hear back. So sorry I didn't get to see you. Would have been nice. Everybody else, if you're going to come through town, let me know like a week in advance.
Yeah, 84 comes right through Coleman. So
yeah, just let me know in advance, because normally I probably can't just like pop anywhere. We don't have air conditioning in the car. I don't have air conditioning in my car anyway. So at that point, I was not going anywhere. I say I was meeting with the pastor, but what we did is we were sitting in the air conditioning. he was
the bookstore.
In the bookstore. He was being gracious. He was being a gracious host and letting me soak up. And I'd say, hey, if you got to go, you got to go. Let me know, but I'll just sit here in the air conditioning all day. I'm sorry that your phone sucks. If anybody has any questions or comments, any topic you want to talk about, I'm not promising we'll talk about it, but we might talk about it. So somebody asked, and I don't want you to get into too much detail, but somebody asked what you were doing and as far as your job.
Oh, me?
Yeah. And so I was just going to say, kind of just give them an outline. Don't get into details or anything. It's not really anybody's business, but I did say that you were on the front lines of COVID. So you could at least cover that part.
So I should describe my job?
No, not like what you do, but like where you work, maybe. She gets
technically, I work for a recruiter, but I work at a place called Health Track RX. That's a division of AIT Laboratories.
Don't tell them where you work.
Well, I didn't say where I was.
Okay, well, don't tell them where you work.
Why?
Because
Are you afraid they're going to come
there's
get
crazy people out there.
Anyway, I do stuff for the infectious disease lab.
She does stuff for them. See, she's the one that like looks. She like looks at the things and she goes, "Yeah, this is definitely COVID." She just looks at it. She got laser beam eyes, and she's like, "Yeah, this is COVID-y. Seems kind of COVID-y. I don't know."
And let me tell you, the COVID lab industry is growing by leaps and bounds.
Yeah, that business doesn't want to go out of business.
They run their lab 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They can't seem to hire enough people as far as receiving the specimens and logging them into the computer and everything. So I missed the boat on putting any money towards investing in laboratory businesses. Yeah,
it'd have been a good idea.
They are taking off.
Being married to a time traveler, had I told her about COVID beforehand, they would have come. The time cops would have come and got me. All right, Danielle, from a female perspective, what concerns you the most in the coming months through the end of the year? This ought to be good.
From a female standpoint.
Well, from a perspective, from your perspective. You don't have any other...
it's just that, I'm just, with all of the craziness going on in the world, and having the philosophy for a long time is that you plan for the worst and you hope for the best. So to me, if the worst happens, my thing is not having my family here. And that kind of a thing where, if the worst happens, there's no saying the worst is going to happen, but it's good to plan for the worst and hope for the best. And so my thing would not want to be going through all of what might possibly be happening and being worried about what's going on with my children. I think that unknown is frustrating, but I also know that the Lord is in control. So that gives me peace. But then the fleshly part of me goes, but your children, so.
Yeah.
I don't think it would drive me crazy to where I couldn't function or anything. It would just be in the back of my mind all of the time. And I think it would just kind of be an added stress to what might possibly be happening that's stressful at the time.
So I think maybe as like incumbent in the question or
Oh.
or intrinsic in the question might be, and this is me adding. I could be just adding this. What kind of things do you see happening that would make you be concerned about your children not being here?
Well, to go back at the very, very beginning, I had one of the best birthdays ever in the beginning of March, and it was before COVID. Well, that weekend, things started happening, and I was worried about my family not being able to get to their home because I know that's probably where they wanted to be. But where's I going with that?
Just what things do you see things that could happen?
Oh,
what things would concern you?
Okay, let's say something happens and they cut off interstate commerce for some reason, because maybe the states can't come to an agreement on how they're going to treat whatever disaster has happened. So what they do is they just cut themselves off from the other states. That kind of a thing.
So people can't
but I'm
travel.
glad I'm in Texas. Yeah. So, that's what happened in March because somebody was supposed to come from another state and buy some of our cattle, and they couldn't. They were going to come in the end of March.
Right.
And boom, that couldn't happen. So if they messed with interstate commerce, to me, that would mean it would be messing with the whole system. Truckers, everything like that. So if something like that, which was a huge systemic, collapse, then I'd be afraid of what would come next because I've already seen the craziness going on in the cities. Well, what kind of craziness would be going on in the cities, and would it come out to the small towns?
Right.
And that kind of a thing.
Hello, Chuck in Middle Georgia. If you heard us say we're sitting in an air-conditioned room, you need to check your audio on your computer because I haven't said anything like that. We are not. We have a fan, about an 8-inch fan blowing on us, but it's blowing 104-degree heat on us. It's 104 right now. I don't know what it is inside this room, but it's pretty hot. All right, so you got possible interference with interstate travel. Perhaps maybe somebody's written a book about the government banning private transportation, but in any sense, there's probably some other things we could be concerned about. Not worried, not fearful, but just like you have them in your mind as possibilities. Part of the whole preparedness lifestyle, the preparedness worldview, is that it's an understanding of the susceptibility of the entire system. And we saw some of that in March and April. We saw little bits of it, but the CDC, it came out just the other day and said they expect the health conditions going into fall and winter to be the worst in American history, not just COVID, but pneumonia, flu, hospital access problems, all kinds of things. And when you add to that we're going into a period of political and social instability that could rival anything in the history of America, at least, it's going to be an interesting couple of months. Danielle, have you been able to witness to your co-workers any positive results? I'm gonna do a what's his name?
Pitts?
No, the rapper that's like, I'm gonna let you talk, and he takes the microphone away. Yeezy, Kanye. Hold on, I'm gonna let you talk. The terminology is loaded because we don't generally use the term witnessing to people because that's really kind of a modern religious sense that's not strictly biblical. But we know what you mean, and so now, sorry, answer the question.
Well, I don't have a lot of time to talk to people in the lab. There's a lot of people that work in the lab, but as far as the department that I'm in this particular lab, there's 2 people, me and another girl, and we work together 8 hours a day. And I already know her doctrine and everything, and so I don't think witnessing to her would help because she's of another faith. And the other workers, it's more just, it's very busy, and it's more of just, hi, how you doing? How's your day going? Okay. And they go and they do their thing, because everything is busy and they're constantly hiring. They don't have enough people. And so whoever is there working right now is probably working overtime and very rarely gets any time off. So there's not a lot of time to talk. And, the lunch is only 30 minutes long. And so I can't say that I've been witnessing, but people know my faith. And if they have any questions.
I was going to say, objection. Okay, so let me clarify a few things from our worldview. Generally, we don't, like I said, we don't use that terminology. That terminology is not strictly biblical. In our belief system, we're not evangelicals in that we believe in the gospel, certainly, but we believe that the gospel is God breathed and God's the one that delivers it, and that we are prepared. Okay, you never have to announce when you're leaving, ever. You just don't have to. I'm sorry that your connection was bad. So we believe the Bible says that you're to be prepared, to have an answer prepared if somebody asks for the reason there's a hope, for the hope that is in you. We believe that God calls some individuals to evangelical work, but the whole idea that we're supposed to be out there peddling, peddling the corporate Jesus, we don't do that or believe that. We believe that God turns that person on, and then they will see the light in you. They see what you believe, and they'll come and talk to you and ask you questions about it. In other words, it's reverse than what modern evangelical Christianity teaches. And so if anybody wants to get into that, on Facebook, I have a ministry page. You can go in there and you can ask questions. I'd be glad to go into deeper. And I've got a whole article on evangelicalism and the great so-called Great Commission. So anyways, that would be a place to do that. Yeah, you can always message me and I'll be glad to help you or talk to you about any specifics. I figured the way you dress would cause some questions and therefore a chance to share. Yeah, that happens. Not always, though. Some people, especially in like work environments, they don't come and ask, but sometimes they do. We're more likely to get stopped in a store. I'm not getting stopped right now because I'm wearing clothes I got at the thrift store that fit me. All right, if you guys have any questions or comments, go ahead and type them in. I may have just like blown some brains up. Maybe some brains got blown up just now.
How's that?
Huh? Well, probably there's a whole bunch of people who never heard that before.
Oh.
Yeah, Calvin and Dabney, preaching the gospel is different than what the modern church calls witnessing. And not everybody is Calvin and Dabney. Calvin and Dabney were Calvin and Dabney. By the way, I recommend their books, both of them. R.L. Dabney's fantastic book on his doctrinal divinity, and of course Calvin's Institutes, and his commentary is invaluable. Exactly. Share it by living it. Be a light. And the light does two things. It separates and divides, and it also illuminates. Yeah, when necessary, use words. All right, if anybody has any questions or comments, please feel free to type those questions in. It's hot here, if I haven't told you that before, so don't leave us waiting. If you have a question and I'm talking about something else or she's talking about something else, just type it in. We can always scroll up and get back to the question. I'm not yelling at you. No, I'm not. This is just me. This is the way that I am. People get upset. They think I'm yelling at them, but I'm not yelling at them. All right, so everybody, don't snap that thing. Are
you so exasperated?
I'm exasperated. This color almost matches that color on the banner. Yeah. All right. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. If you're one of the future people are people that are watching this when it's not live. I want to greet you and tell you we appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure you go down in the description, click on the link to Garrett Bradford's song. Go check that out. Make sure you go down in the comment section. Just say something like, hey, great show. Good to see Mrs. Bunker. Or something like, hey, I hated it. That's fine too. The more comments that are in YouTube, I'll get to it in a second. Those people aren't the boss of me. So the more people that leave comments, the more YouTube will say, hey, we should show this to more people. What's your thoughts on the mark of the beast? Some believe it could be a microchip in a vaccine. I talked a little bit about this in the last show. Would you stop snapping that thing?
Yeah.
I want to take it away. I talked about it a little in the last show. I think the mark of the beast has been around for 2,000 years. However, it manifests itself in different ways in different generations and at different times. Certainly, any indicator that takes a part of you that's part of what makes you independent and individual in the eyes of God and uses that to not only identify you, but to allow you or to depermit you or to ban you from buying or selling ought to be something that causes you some concern. So if you are familiar with prophetic scriptures, don't go around thinking that I'm saying that anything like that is the mark of the beast. I'm just saying that the sign of Antichrist is an entity, a governmental type of entity that restricts buying and selling based on obedience to some idolatry. So just something to keep in mind. Love you, but mostly Danielle Bunker. But I have a get out of jail card on that one because we are one. We came together and became one. You can't love her more than me. It's just not possible.
Tracy can do whatever she wants to do.
What are the winters like here? Winters are can be very, very pleasant, like the last couple. Although we do get winter in
spurts.
In spurts, we get it in fronts, and some of them could be really, really brutally cold. So we'll get maybe 2, 3, 4 days. We get winter like our normal summers. In other words, we have our normal temperatures can be very pleasant between the 40s and the 70s or even the 80s. And then we'll have a cold front that'll come through where we'll get down into the 30s or the 20s and sometimes even below that. But those fronts usually are gone within 2 or 3 days. We generally, I think one time in 2010, we had a freezing cold, icy, snowy winter that lasted the whole winter. But most of the time we get 2 or 3 really bad days and then it warms back up. We're very likely to get days in the 70s and 80s throughout the winter. All right. Did I miss any? The closer you get to the microphone, the louder you get. Well, I think that has something to do with where the microphone is because I lean in. So anyways, I'm not yelling at anybody. Most everything the church does today is backwards. So yeah, I believe that. If I had a link to it, if I knew where it was posted, I would post a link to my article on the Great Commission, but I'm not going to because I don't think it's online anywhere right now. Danielle Bunker, what do you find the most challenging about living off grid?
I would say the extremes of summer and winter. The really, really, really cold days and the really, really, really hot days. To me is the most challenging. I don't really see anything else, but that is coming from a person who enjoys a lot of physical activity. I don't mind the work. I don't, the carrying water or, doing laundry by hand or anything like that. Some people would probably mind that. I don't mind the physical work. It's the extremes in temperatures. And those are only, like this hot spell in August, 10 days. And most of the time in winter, we get a cold week, and then we get a couple of days in the 80s. So it's not really that bad, but to me, that would probably be the worst thing, the hardest thing to take.
Yeah, and you know, back before we got like the water pump in hand pump in the cottage, having to carry water for everything. Like you don't ever just go, oh, I'm gonna wash my hair or I'm gonna do this or do that. You have to like think about it, and there's a lot of water hauling. That's been a lot better now with the cistern and with the hand pump that we've got in the cottage. Do I have any fruit trees on the property? Right now, I've got an apricot tree and I've got a peach tree, neither of which produce. I got one peach this year, but just in the last maybe 2-3 years, we had 4 or 5 peach trees that were really, really productive. They died. I think they just got to the end of their life cycle. And we've put in apple trees and all that. We have a grape plant, a grapevine, but we're going to be putting in some more trees. It's just every time we put a tree in right now with the extremes of weather we've had this year, trying to keep water on the trees has been, we have a pecan tree that's doing really well because it gets most of our gray water. But, and that peach tree is great. It just doesn't produce peaches. I went out there this year because it's too early. It puts out all its, we always get a late freeze. It's just I need a later variety. Our other 4 peach trees or 5 or however many we had were really productive, and we would get just bushels and bushels and bushels of peaches. So we need to put in some more peach trees. They seem to do pretty well out here. We have an apricot tree that's been around for 15 years. It just doesn't ever produce apricots. So we'll be working on that some more. And then hopefully our grape vine will be producing at some point. It's looking better. Came back this year. It sounds like Middle South Georgia's winter. Yeah. We've had years where you go.
We don't have the humidity they have.
Right. We've had years where the whole year was perfect. I think we had one year where we only had maybe one day or no days over 100. And we've had winters where it never got below 25 ever. And most of the days were in the 60s and 70s. You could wear a t-shirt. So you just never know. And then we've had years that were just this summer has been tough. It's been a tough summer. So I have no idea what to expect for this winter. We'll see. All right, everybody, we're at 42 minutes. If you have a question or a comment or something you want to talk about, if you have a question for Mrs. Bunker, right now is the time to do it because she's got to go. She's got to get on the road. She's got to drive all the way back to the big city. Lord willing, you guys be praying for her. She's going to get out of there before the riots, before the alien invasion, before the zombies, before anything bad like that happens. She's going to get out of there. 28th of this month is when she's supposed to be back. All right. We'll give it 2 minutes, maybe 2 minutes. She's got to hit the road. You guys, make sure you hit the like button. Joe Putnam said, are you able to hunt feral hogs on your land in Texas? Yeah, we have tons of feral hogs. In fact, I had to dodge 2 of them yesterday morning. We stayed at a hotel last night, or night before last and last night, but and then I went to the gym, and then I came home to feed the animals, and there were pigs out in the road. And it was dark, and I had to dodge them. But we have caught feral pigs on the property. We've caught a super pig on the property. I've got traps. We just don't have the traps set right now because it's too hot, and we already have domestic pigs that we're trying to process. But most likely all this winter we'll have traps set because there are pigs everywhere. War Dog Heim, thank you so much for the super chat. Better get a super chat on here before Danielle heads out. Anybody else want to do a super chat? You can do it. You got like 2 minutes. Daniel says, on a hand pump that hasn't been used in a long time, how do you know you're actually pulling water as opposed to just getting back what you used to prime? We don't have to prime ours. We have a foot valve at the bottom. So let me get rid of this. So we have a hand pump inside the cottage. There's a pipe that goes down. It goes into the ground. It goes over maybe 20 feet to or 15 feet to our cistern. The pipe goes down into the cistern. It goes all the way to 2 feet from the bottom of the cistern. And there's a foot valve down there. So the water never returns. So that pipe stays full. The only thing that could really happen is if we were not there for several days, the leathers inside the pump can dry out a little bit. So you just pour some prime water in the top, maybe even a gallon, probably. Maybe you would have to do more if it was a long period of time and some of it evaporated. But we've never had a problem. We've never had a problem. Almost always, the first pump, you're getting water. And so the only real issue is in days like now when it's 104, 105, 108 yesterday, sometimes the water that is in the pipe coming up into the house, the first couple of pumps can be warm. So sometimes, like if I'm going to do my hair or something like that, I'll pump a bucket or two of water out of it and I'll go pour that on the trees so that I'm getting cold water out of the cistern. Thank you, Pat, for the safe travels for Danielle. Everybody
Thank you, Pat.
be praying that she has safe travels. I should have been doing that the whole time, popping the questions up here. Except for this one, it was just rude. All right, y'all. God bless you. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. 49% of you are not subscribed when you're watching this. You need to go to YouTube and you need to subscribe. It just really, really helps, and we appreciate it. If you guys would like to make a donation at any time, just go to michaelbunker.com. Somewhere around here on michaelbunker.com, there's a button that you can click. It says partner and subscribe, and you can do like a monthly, like Patreon type of subscription if you want to. If you don't, just subscribe on YouTube. That's free. Doesn't cost you anything, and it's very, very beneficial. So you guys hit the like button. We appreciate it. Say goodbye to Mrs. Bunker. She's got to go back to town. Lord willing, she'll be back on the 28th, and then we're going to be doing regular shows. I'll have her on here, not all the time. I don't want her stealing the show. I don't want her like plotting my death so she could take over my huge audience.
Things going all the time.
Thank you all. God bless you. I love you, Lord willing. I'll see you tomorrow or maybe the next day. We'll see.